12.3 million for April, sure, but can they sustain it?
No, I don't think so at all. And even the 12.3 will actually involve a lot of destocking from their tanks, not just from the kingdom, but also from Egypt and China and Japan. You know, it's a headline number, right? It's a headline number to scare Russia, it's to kind of send a signal. We don't think production is going to be much more than 11, maybe 11.5, nowhere close to the numbers they're talking about.
On the flip side, though, Russia says that they could ramp up 500,000 barrels of oil a day. Is that actually sustainable?
I mean, that's more realistic, let's say, the numbers. We think current spare capacity in Russia is about 200,000 to 300,000 barrels per day. The 500,000 will take months. I mean, they can get there, but that's probably going to be a year from now rather than immediately.
So is the market pricing then fair for what we're actually seeing, literally the supply?
Well, I mean, I think there's a little bit of skepticism in terms of how much can these countries actually increase in a month. Versus how much are they just talking. I think that's a big part of it. But, you know, I know we bounced back a little bit today, but we should continue to head lower. Because demand's also extremely weak, and you are adding, 3-4 million barrels per day. And remember, it's not just these two. Kuwait and UAE will also ramp up because they've got some spare capacity. We are going to be, literally, we're going to be floating in oil in Q2.
Yeah, literally, there will be oil floating on the water if the contango continues to deepen. So, Amrita, when you take a look then at the endgame here, you had the feeling that the OPEC Plus wasn't going to make a deal before it did. Is this going to bring anyone closer together at all?
Well, I think that's the worry we have, is that both sides, and particularly Saudi Arabia, is underestimating or misjudging the other side. This is very much a strategy to get Russia back on board. But Russia doesn't respond well to threats, and Russia can take lower oil prices for longer than Saudi Arabia. So, again, we are very unclear of what the end game is over here.
So let's say that Saudi Arabia says we can't take it anymore. We need to spend more on Vision 2030. We need to get the Saudi Aramco IPO price up, etc. What do they do? What would be your best guess on how that would then transmit into the oil market?
I think there is a possibility that we get a deal before the June meeting. I know today there's been headlines from Abdulaziz saying, oh, there's no point in meeting, but that's not what we hear. This is game theory. Worst case, if Russia doesn't come on board and if Saudi Arabia ultimately doesn't want inventories to soar, it might end up just being an OPEC-only deal, and you just don't get OPEC+.